In a London Drawing Room by George Eliot. The poem describes an unknown speaker's view from their drawing room, which is a consistently gloomy sight. The poem is divided into 4 sections. First, the view of the cloudy, polluted sky, then the boring row of houses directly opposite are described. Next, the speaker comments on the darkness that obscures the natural world and how the people are too busy hurrying around. This is continued into the 3rd section, which is a picture of movement and bustle, but without anyone paying attention to their environment or each other. George Eliot's poem concludes with the opinion that the world seems one huge prison house, in which the lack of colour, warmth and joy is the punishment for some unnamed crime. The opening line sets both the scene and tone. The sky is yellowed or stained by pollution, casting a dismal air over all that follows. Eliot paints with a drab colour palette, and an uninspiring view is described with the simile one long line of wall like solid fog. Here, and for the entirety of the poem, she piles one underwhelming image on top of another, which only serves to emphasise the tedium. The violent verb cutting demonstrates how the man-made city has rudely intruded on the sky, whilst the comment, without a break to hang a guess upon, implies there is nothing of mystery, nothing to arouse the speaker's curiosity. The negative impact of the urban on nature extends into the next section, in which birds are literally as well as symbolically overshadowed by the darkness and density of the city. All is shadow. Once more, a dull mood is created through words like o'hung and canvas, which convey a suffocating effect, whilst all, and the superlative thickest, reinforce the feeling of oppression, as does the downbeat personification of the sun's golden rays clothed in hemp, which is a thick, ugly fabric preventing light from penetrating the scene. Tedium is again highlighted by the speaker, who now casts their eye over the populace but finds nothing to feed the hunger of the eye, which indicates how lacking in inspiration is the view. No one, except the speaker, appears to have the time to pause and rest a little on the lap of life. This sense of dissatisfaction is a theme continued in lines 13 to 16. In which everyone actively avoids eye contact, a depressing image all too familiar to modern-day Londoners, suggestive of urbanisation leading to alienation. There is nothing distinctive, nothing which stands out in the view, which is further illustrated by the observation of how the vehicles are all clothed in multiple identity, implying both a dull uniformity and lack of openness. By the concluding lines, the speaker fears that citizens in the modern city have effectively imprisoned themselves. Even those who have transgressed only slightly are punished. No one is spared, all are robbed of the more rewarding colour, warmth and joy so clearly absent in the poem. Returning to the title, it's noticeable that it's called In a London Drawing Room and not From a London Drawing Room, which would be a more accurate title given that the poem describes the view from the window of a drawing room. This underlines the separation of the indoor viewer from the outside, conveying how they are disconnected from the external world. Perhaps this is because the viewer is rich and privileged. They are, after all, in a drawing room, which strongly suggests that their home is substantial and comfortable. Yet, the speaker clearly empathises with their fellow Londoners and their apparent entrapment. Sometimes an outsider can reveal truths hidden from those on the inside. You could argue that this is the job of poetry. With its focus on how the urban landscape is dull and soulless, In a London Drawing Room is similar to the dirty, diseased and deafening city of A Wider View, and the similarly isolating urban environment of With Birds You're Never Lonely. Such separation of humanity from nature can also be detected in William Wordsworth's lines written in early spring. Elsewhere, England in 1819 is connected to George Eliot's poem as it illustrates the oppression of ordinary people, which can be detected in the second half of In a London Drawing Room.